Okay, units of concentration part 3 is going to be percent mass by mass. So our equation, note that this is going to be m/m, which stands for mass by mass, realizing that there are also such things as mass by volume and volume by volume. Our equation is going to be equal, our percentage is going to equal grams of solute divided by the grams of the whole solution. There's a little trick here though. Realize that the grams of the entire solution is the same thing as the grams of the solute plus the grams of the solvent, since solute plus solvent make up the entire solution. And then times 100 is just to make it into a percent. So number 1, it says determine the percent composition by mass if you have 100 grams of salt solution and it contains 20 grams of salt. So here, they are specifically telling us how much solution we have. And then salt is going to be our solute. So to determine our percentage, we're going to take percent mass by mass is equal to the grams of the solute, 20 grams, divided by the grams of the whole solution, which is 100 grams, times 100 to make it a percentage, and this is going to equal 20%. So the solution is 20% salt to water. Okay, determine the mass percent of a sodium chloride solution that has 58.5 grams of sodium chloride dissolved in 50 grams of water. It's important to recognize here that they're telling us how much solute we have, and because they're telling us how much water there is, that's the amount of solvent. So they have not told us the amount of solution. So our percent mass by mass is going to equal the grams of the solute, 58.5, divided by the solute, 58.5, plus the amount of solvent, 50 grams, times 100 is going to make it into a percentage. And 58.5 divided by 108.5 is going to, times 100 is going to equal 53.9%. In this scenario, we're going to find the mass of the solute given 78 grams of the solvent and given the percentage. So here, since we're looking for the solute, this is going to be a bit more complex. The initial equation would look like this. 34.2% is equal to, I don't know how much solute there is, so X grams of solute, divided by, we still don't know how much solute there is, but in the denominator it's solute plus the solvent, and all times 100 to make it into a percentage. So you'll see that we have an X in 2 different locations of our equation. So first thing you're going to do is divide both sides by 100. And by doing this, we're going to end up with 0.342 equals X over X plus 78. Now, we're going to multiply both sides by X plus 78. On the right side, this cancels, leaving me with just X. So I'm going to have X equals, we're going to distribute our 0.342 with these. So we'll get 0.342X plus 26.676. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of basic algebra. We need to get the x's together on the same side of the equation, so I'm going to subtract 0.342x from both sides in order to get the x's together. Here, my x's cancel, and I'm left with 26.676 equals, remember that this is 1 minus 0.342, which is going to give us 0.658x. And then the last step is simply to divide both sides by 0.658 in order to get our answer, which is 40.54. What's nice about this is our amount of solute. We can actually plug that back into the equation up here, 40.54, 40.54, and then we can solve this to see if we get 34.2%. So I'm going to do 40.54 divided by 40.54 plus 78 times 100, which does indeed give me 34.2%. Now our question is, how would you prepare a 500 grams of a sodium hydroxide solution if it's 20% by mass? The question is, how much sodium hydroxide and how much water are we going to need? So we want to know how much solute and how much solvent are we going to need. Realize that this 500 grams is the amount of the solution that they have given us. And we also have the percentage. So the equation is going to be set up 20% equals, I don't know my amount of solute, but I do know that the amount of the solution is 500 grams, and all times 100. First step is going to be to divide both sides by 100, which will cause this to cancel. And then we'll have 0.20 equals x over 500. And then we'll multiply both sides by 500, which will cause this to cancel, leaving me with x equals 100 grams. And that is the amount of our solute. Remember, that's what this solved for. So if we have 100 grams of solute and our solution is a total of 500 grams, then that means the amount of solvent is going to equal 400 grams, because 400 plus 100 will give me my total 500 grams of solution. One more problem. The question is, we have a 5% solution using 0.377 grams of the substance. That's going to be our solute. What mass of water, which is our solvent. So here we're looking for how much solvent we have given the amount of solute and the percentage. So we're going to set up our equation. 5.00% equals, I know that I have 0.377 grams of solute divided by 0.377 grams of solute plus X amount of grams of solvent, all times 100. So first we're going to divide both sides by 100. It's going to cause our hundreds over here to cancel. And now we're left with 0.05 equals 0.377 divided by 0.377 plus X. We're going to now multiply both sides of the equation by 0.377 plus X. On the right side, these cancel, and this leaves me with, and I'm going to go ahead and distribute my 0.05, so I'll have 0.05x plus 0.01885 equals 0.377. Now we want to subtract 0.01885 from both sides. This will cancel, leaving me with 0.05x equals, and when we subtract 0.377 minus 0.01885, we get 0.35815. And then finally, we want to divide both sides by 0.05, causing my 0.05s to cancel, and I'm left with x equals 7.16 grams of solvent. Again, what's nice about this is we can plug this back into the original equation, 7.16, and so if we solve it, we should get a 5% solution. So 0.377 divided by 0.377 plus 7.16 times 100 gives us indeed a 5% solution.